cutting prices of their vehicles in inventory. And the problem that they have here is they have a lot more of those at the moment.
Resources are saying that they are no longer going to go after the low-cost Tesla that Elon Musk talked about in 2020.
Let me ask you this. Do you think there will be a shift in strategy or at least more focus on self-driving taxis?
What's the level of autonomy? Remember, full self-driving is not full self-driving. It's nowhere close to it.
I suspect the reason why they've made that change here recently is they have more confidence in some of that beta that you were just talking about.
All that and more. So let's get to it. Tesla stock closed down at the closing bell on Friday, a little over 3.5%. In the after hours, however, Tesla spiked almost 4%, sitting at 171.19. It was definitely a strange trading day on Friday. Reuters had broken a story that Tesla was abandoning the next generation vehicle. Elon posted on X that Reuters was lying yet again. Then, after the closing bell, said that there will be a Robotaxi Unveil on August 8th. For the week, Tesla down almost 4%, and year-to-date, Tesla down over 31.5%. Will the anticipation for August 8th be enough to turn the tide for TSLA?
More price cuts, everything the market does not really want.
Yeah, that's right. And we've seen them cutting prices left and right for more than a year now. This is a little bit different where they're actually cutting prices of their vehicles in inventory. And the problem that they have here is they have a lot more of those at the moment. They made almost 50,000 more vehicles than they delivered last quarter. And this is something that has become, something investors have become accustomed to because 7 out of the last 8 quarters they've done that. And so this is a pretty drastic move on their part because you're able to get your hands on a Model Y for much cheaper than you would if you were to custom order one. The big question will be just how long they stick with this small price hike that they moved to at the beginning of this month. Just based on where deliveries have been, it's hard to believe that will stick for very long.
Price hikes, price cuts. Tesla does have some inventory build, but I'm willing to wager that it's not as bad as many of these analysts think. They look at this number of deliveries and production. That's the number. Like, they have way too many Model Ys on hand. The fact that Tesla utilizes dynamic pricing probably means there's more to this than meets the eye. This is in Tesla's best interest for multiple reasons. One, you get to move these vehicles into consumers' hands, which once they drive it, let's be honest, they're lifetime customers. And two, they're probably going to get FSD for a month for free. This means more miles driven in various different locations. You get more of these corner cases for the neural nets. The more individuals that engage in this free trial, the more likely that they are to become recurring subscription owners of FSD or simply buy it outright for the 12 grand. While the talking heads in the financial news media are playing checkers, Elon Musk and the team at Tesla are playing 3D chess. There's levels to this.
You can see it on your screen, a big drop just a few hours ago in those shares intraday on the back of conflicting reports about whether Tesla is abandoning its strategy towards a lower-priced EV.
This is a really interesting one because Reuters put out a report, an exclusive, basically the equivalent of a Bloomberg scoop, so presumably work that they really want to stand by, saying that Tesla has scrapped their low-cost car plans amid fierce Chinese EV competition. So basically saying that 3 sources are saying that they are no longer going to go after the low-cost Tesla that Elon Musk talked about in 2020, that instead they're going to focus on self-driving taxis, and that it's coming from pressure from China EVs, cheap China EVs.
So I immediately dismiss that reasoning of why Tesla may or may not decide to cancel their next generation vehicle for sale to consumers. But the back half of that, focusing more on robotaxis, well, duh, that is where the money is. The only reason not to pursue selling a cheaper version in multiple regions, Europe, Asia, America, would be if you crack the FSD nut, so to speak.
But Elon Musk then comes out on X saying that Reuters is lying, in parentheses, again. He then says Reuters is dying. He then does googly eyes to the idea of the robo-taxis. So I think that it's to be seen what...
Okay, did any of those tweets actually say whether they were actually abandoning this program or not?
So it's
Reuters is
interesting.
lying,
So Reuters
so-
then put out a statement
Right.
saying that he has not responded and that he did not address any of the claims specifically outside of just this sort of inflammatory.
So just a broad
speech.
statement that they're lying.
No one at Tesla is going to acknowledge this Reuters report because Tesla continues to pursue various ways on increasing their revenue. So there may be a hint of truth when it comes to putting the next generation vehicle for sale to consumers on the back burner. But when I was finishing up my video yesterday, this news broke and it definitely felt scary. Good for my put, but definitely scary for the long term. There are knowns and there are unknowns. And there are known unknowns and unknown unknowns. Long story short, I have to trust Elon Musk and the Tesla team that they know exactly which direction the company needs to be headed into to become the most valuable company in a decade's time.
I've seen Tesla move about $10 throughout the day. On breaking news from Reuters, no, the EV, the lower model was going to be discontinued. The strategy was changing, and then Elon Musk came out and said, Reuters is lying again. You know what? I can only talk to Dan Ives here. Dan Ives is with us of Wedbush Securities. Last week, those deliveries came in, and you said, I'm paraphrasing, they were a disaster, and that darker days were ahead unless Elon Musk made a reversal of some sort. What's your interpretation of what happened here today?
Not good. I mean, look, obviously Musk denied it, and that's the important thing. But Nicole, it just speaks to the broader worries right now in the Tesla story. I mean, it was a train wreck 1Q. You need the low cost of sub $30,000 vehicle, to really be announced going into the next 18 months. And it's a fork in the road period. I think he's able to navigate it. But let's just be clear. I mean, if he just kind of, dog ate the homework type excuses on supply, this is going to be some darker days.
Promises, promises, Dan Ives. I need darker days. I need this to be as cheap as humanly possible so that I can continue to dump as much excess cash into TSLA.
Is there going to be a cheaper model or not? Is there going to be a $25,000 model or not?
There's not an option. In other words, if they decided not to go that route, it would be a disaster of epic proportions, because that, from a mass demand perspective, in terms of caught between two waves, that's the next wave.
There's a reason why Dan Ives and people like myself are just commenting on Tesla's actions. We're not privy to the grand scheme of things. As things change, technology changes, so too may your opportunities. To some degree, we all have blinders on. We see what we want to see. And for Dan Ives, the next generation vehicle is the catalyst that's going to blow the doors off the total addressable market, get Tesla to 20 million vehicles per year, and back to the margins he had grown accustomed to a few years past. That's what he wants, and that's all he wants to see Elon Musk and the team at Tesla pursue. But is there something else Tesla could be doing?
Let me ask you this. Do you think there will be a shift in strategy or at least more focus on self-driving taxis? That was something I read today.
Look, I mean, that's much longer term. I mean, obviously Kathy and others talk about it. But I mean, you're going through a Category 5 storm in the near term. So this is...
Do you believe it? Do you believe that those are coming, maybe? I mean, is that what differentiates Tesla from everything else?
Look, longer term down the road, but that's like talking to a 5-year-old saying that they're going to be in the NBA.
What? Dan Ives, what the f are you talking about right now? Look, I get it. This is some far-fetched sci-fi fantasy bullshit, according to Dan Ives. Many of you probably feel the same way. You cannot grasp the fact that you will never have to drive again. That your children's children are not going to have to drive in the future. But as a daily user of this FSD supervised version of this software, we're right around the corner. Tesla just crossed over 1 billion miles driven on FSD, and that number continues to grow exponentially.
So the point is, like, there's a lot that needs to happen between.
That's different. No, that's
well, there's
different.
There's a lot that
different.
needs to
That's
happen
a long
between
shot.
now and then.
Okay. All right. So you're not a believer of that right now in a big way, I think.
At this moment, investors need to get handheld through the 1Q debacle and how you're going to turn this around. Looking out 4 or 5 years from now, that and $4 gets you a cup of coffee.
I honestly don't understand Dan Ives right now. I mean, I understand that the stock is down. You've got people to answer to because you handle their money. You believe in Tesla, the company, especially if they go down a path that you suspect. But I don't believe this man has sat in a Tesla vehicle with FSD supervised engaged. And for someone that understands technology, I mean, he covers a lot of technology stocks. I think he understands how fast this can happen. Yet he refuses to remove the blinders.
Breaking news on Tesla. Phil LeBeau, what's going on?
John, we have a date for the unveil of the Robotaxi. Yes, Elon Musk says there will be a Robotaxi, and he plans to unveil it on August 8th. He just put that out on X. That's all he said. Did not say anything about when we might see this go into service, any of the particulars, if it's going to be a new model, if it'll simply be software attached to a current Tesla model. But again, Elon Musk saying that we will get the unveil of the Robotaxi on August 8th. Let the speculation begin.
Speculation? Don't mind if I do. Well, let's be serious here. August 8th, right? Robotaxi Unveil. That's what Elon said. In my mind, I think we see the next generation vehicle, at least from a Robotaxi respect. I fully expect to see a rough version of what the software is going to look like inside the Tesla app, and for Elon to expound upon how Tesla owners can utilize their own personal vehicles by adding and subtracting it to the fleet. I'm not sure if Tesla will announce cities or states in which they're going to operate these pilot cities for the Robotaxi. I imagine initially they'll have some backseat beta testers, which I'd love to sign up for. But one thing is for certain, is that they're getting enough miles driven, fueling the neural nets, improving the technology bit by bit, steadily and gradually.
Elon Musk sharing himself on X that Tesla will unveil its long-awaited Robotaxi on August 8th. The news sending shares of Tesla up after hours.
Probably not good for the put I placed yesterday that expires next week, but I guess we'll see.
Brian, when you look at this, this is one of those that's going to have more speculation than anything because he didn't get much from Elon Musk today except for one post on X late this afternoon. It said Robotaxi Unveil on August 8th. All right, so what does that mean? Well, a lot of questions here. First of all, what are we talking about in terms of entry into service? Where will the location of the Robotaxi be? Certainly not going to be widespread. It'll probably be in one specific area, maybe a geo-fenced area.
Geo-fenced area? But do you not know what's going on here, Phil?
What's the level of autonomy? Remember, full self-driving is not full self-driving. It's nowhere close to it.
Until it is.
And has the technology evolved to the point where it could be? And where's the vehicle going to be manufactured? So as you look at this all sets up the question that will come when Tesla reports its Q1 results on April 23rd. A lot of questions will be about the Robotaxi because, Brian, at the end of the day, on paper, the Robotaxi or any autonomous taxi service makes complete sense. You strip out the driver, you lower the cost, fantastic. Here's the problem. We are nowhere close to having the level of autonomy widespread where this can take off.
It's comments like these that make me want to dump more money into TSLA. Very few people on Wall Street think that Tesla is even close for this thing to become a reality. If you've used the technology, you know that they are not far from it. The audacity of Phil's statements. He's not alone in his thinking, so yes, there is opportunity at hand.
We'll find out in the months to come.
Well, they're offering up, I think, what is a month of free full self-driving, what they call FSD?
Well, yes, but remember, it's not full self-driving, Brian. It's level 2, level 3 autonomy. You still need to pay attention. Are there parts of a drive where you can take your hands off the wheel and the vehicle will control itself if it's a Tesla with full self-driving? Absolutely. Is it going to take you from point A to point B wherever you are and you don't have to touch that steering wheel? Not a chance. They're not at that level of technology yet.
He says it with such conviction. I gotta put more money in TSLA.
Robotaxis. Everyone's been waiting. Is this a big deal?
Brian, it is a big deal, and I think that it's an important context to the investor. Phil framed it in well in terms of what the potential impact is, just higher margin. Before I do that, I want to just mention this is probably coming at the cost of them not pursuing the cheaper Model 2 $25,000 vehicle that was on the table. They've talked about that. That probably is now on pause, and all of the focus is on Robotaxi.
Now, I don't want it to be true, but I am in this camp with Gene. Ever since I got FSD Supervised 12.3.3, despite what Phil might have you believe, has done about 90 to 95% of my driving. Don't get me wrong, I would love to see this vehicle being sold to consumers, but it would make more money in Tesla's hands. Eventually, maybe they might sell this thing to consumers, but I guarantee you it will make more money in Tesla's hands.
I suspect the reason why they've made that change here recently is they have more confidence in some of that beta that you were just talking about. The response so far, including our own Andrew Murphy from Deepwater, who's been following this, uses this technology, has been that this is a step function improvement. So we're getting much closer. But I want to put some quick numbers on, Brian, why this is such a big deal, why this is a win for Tesla investors. And it will take a long time to get there, 3, 4, 5 years. But
in my base case model, I have the first Robotaxi fares occurring in Q4 of 2024. I was going to revise that back, but I'm so glad I didn't. In reality, it'll probably be sometime in 2025, but who knows? At the rate of progress, you may see your first Robotaxi fare in August. The point I'm trying to make is no one knows when this is going to happen, but when Tesla starts accruing revenue for their autonomous taxi software, the stock market is going to react violently.
to put in perspective, if they do 1 million robotaxis, that's a number that Elon talked about in 2019, 1 million robotaxis, and those robotaxis earn $250 a day each, and they take a 15% take rate on that, that adds $10 billion to the operating line, the net income line. That is basically double what their current net income is. If you just think about the levers and about shifting this company in a whole different direction back to the growth topic, this has the potential to do that.
In conclusion, Tesla cuts inventory Model Y prices, gotta get these things in consumers' hands. Reuters reports that Tesla has abandoned the next generation vehicle for pursuits of a robotaxi. Has this company gone crazy? Wait. They announced a Robotaxi Unveil August 8th. Somebody better inform Dan Ives, who thinks that this is, I don't know, a pipe dream. But Dan isn't alone. Many people on Wall Street can't even fathom Tesla pivoting from being one of the most valuable auto manufacturers to something else entirely. Remember when Amazon was a bookstore? Or when Apple only made desktops? Some of you young cats might not understand this. It is no surprise that Tesla has been misunderstood by the street. Question is, when will Wall Street finally understand Tesla is on the path to becoming the most valuable company in a decade's time? That's all I got for you today. Be easy. Peace.